Get goes everybody, because they will be playing a game called The Devil's Whisper, requested by Ned and Sway. Yeah. What is this game? It's a demo though. Full screen, no fast message, yes. Sound effects, depends. Yeah. Alrighty, then let's start. Let's go. Deep into the darkness, peering. Long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams. No, oh god damn it, too fast. I can't read it. It was all in an instant, in the faintest shadow of a dream. An intense shock suddenly came over me, shattering the sanity I had ephemerally achieved over the months. For a time, however, I had been carried beyond the reach of earth, and this body, no barrier stopping me achieving my deepest longings and desire. But just as everything that goes up must go down, all that is enjoyed must end. This is the devil whispering. Because it's the title of the game. We are all in the hands of fate. The Lord has decreed our life. The death will be the last word. There was nothing to be done. My time had come. God damn it. That surprised me. Unleashing the Nightmare, Chapter 1. Hee. I opened my eyes suddenly with my heart beating a mile a minute, as well as a feeling of tiredness and sweating running down my body. That was a dream, wasn't it? I was still a little sleepy. I could remember some things from that nightmare. A man, a promise, a curse, and a pact to fulfill. I was gradually losing lucidity of what happened in the dream, and I was remembering events more and more blurred. I guess I need a new pair of glasses. It got to the point where I found myself lying on my side and trying to understand what happened in that nightmare. They seem to be coming back. That's a double M, just single M's needed. I mumbled after fully regaining consciousness. I looked around trying to decipher the time and what I was doing before falling asleep. Through the window I could see a sky in sepia and orange tones. The sun was setting. 6:15 p.m. I looked at my cell phone screen as I unlocked it. God, look at the time. Yeah, it is 6:15. Andrew must be furious. He asked me to send him a sketch of the cover as early as possible so we could start working. A sudden sound jolted me out of reality. It was my cell phone. I picked it up again to see who it was. Oh my God! It was Andrew. Oh no. Without my realizing it, I let go of the cell phone out of sheer shock. It bounced off the bed and fell to the floor. Damn it. I got out of bed as fast as I could and picked up the cell phone. No. The third time this year I've cracked the cell phone screen. Very well done, Amelia. You know what's funny? I also have a cell phone that's also has like cracked screens and shit. Maybe I should take a photo of it and post it here. Yeah, maybe I should. As hard as I tried to press the answer button, it seemed like it would have no effect as the crack went right through where I was pressing it. With more desperation, I pressed and pressed at different points, a little higher up the button, a little lower, until finally... Hello? Hello, Amelia. Hello, Andrew. How are you? I'm fine. I hear you're a bit nervous. Is everything alright? Yeah, well, apart from a broken cell phone, let's just say everything is fine. Your cell phone? Oh, I'm so sorry. Nah, don't worry about it. Sorry to bother you. I got a little worried because it was getting late. I hadn't received your files. I'm not pressing you or anything. I just wanted to see if everything was going okay. Andrew's not the type of person to pressure you to finish a job quickly, but he always has that leader's instinct to help others and check that everything is being done right. However, I doubt he would think very highly of me if I told him that I overslept and that's why I didn't finish on time. What should I do? I should probably save first. Autosave. Oh, okay. How do I go back? Here? So, make something up. I'm a devil whisperer. Andrew, you see, there was a little snag. Yeah, I was afraid something had happened. I mean, ever since I met you, you've always been such a perfectionist about everything. No, it's not that. Damn it, why does it have to be so hard? I just said I lie. Just thinking about the expression he must be wearing right now makes me feel nervous. A pardon? Huh? Excellent, Amelia. Thinking out loud again. I'm sorry. Listen, it's okay. If you were inconvenienced, tomorrow we can do the work at school. You know there's a teacher's class where we rarely do anything. We can finish the sketch during that hour, don't you think? Yeah, that's fine with me. Once again, I'm sorry. I promise it won't happen again. You don't have to apologize. Ow, my back. Don't forget to stretch, boys. It can happen to all of us. Thank you. If you need anything, you can text or call me. I'm here for you. I'm afraid I have to hang up now. Madison is furious. Looks like she lost a styling cream or something. Oof, I wouldn't want to be in your situation. I know how that girl gets when she's upset, haha. Ha ha ha. Bye then. Have a nice evening. Well, that went a lot better than I expected. Hehe, I'm a devil whisperer. And also, we're going to work together tomorrow. Immediately another thought made me react. My damn cell phone. I took it in my hands while analyzing the gravity of the situation. Indeed, the screen was almost shattered. This is going to cost a good chunk of my allowance. Da-da-da. There you are. 3:20 a.m. In the calm of a full moon night, with a clear sky and an enchanting breeze, the glitch is happening in the Matrix. There is a glitch in the Matrix. A soul is still awake, waiting for the right moment to begin its ritual. Hidden in a bush near the entrance gates to the building, the man steps out cautiously, making sure there is no one around him. Confirming that he is alone, he throws himself to the ground in an area filled with dirt and grass and begins to dig. Just a bit more. Just a little bit more and I'll get it. I can't stop now. The glare of a sharp knife blinds the person's own sight, who in his frenzy digs a hole without realizing the wounds he causes himself. Grunts, sighs, and even his own heartbeat can be heard, being pumped at superhuman pressure. When a drop of sweat falls on one of his wounds, the man lets out a scream easily distinguishable by the quiet of the night. The person shakes his head and then spits out a spit as a sign of bravery. Soon, the time is near. After finishing the hole, he pulls out a bag with dozens of objects that would horrify any sane human being. Almost acting on impulse, he places each item in a specific order and recites a few words in a strange language. Homo pro vobis oro pro vistra excellentia. COTB, excuse, quid me, ad deduxina, I don't know. Domine, ad meras meas perventia. Please, you try Facebook Meta, please, for the love of God. The only people trying it are old people. And they don't know shit. I stopped using Facebook ever since my parents became very active at that. I'm like, God damn. Every time I post something, they'll be like, that's a good one, son. Good one. After this, he takes the earth with his own hands and covers all the apparent mess of objects that, even if only for him, has a specific and incorruptible order. It was done. He had successfully completed his ritual. Make it worth your while, my lord. Please. Let all this I am doing be worth it. His breathing became heavy, and again he began to sigh. Suddenly, tears could be seen falling on the ground from the man's sad gaze. Will they ever be able to forgive me? Whatever his intentions, he had achieved his goals, whether he himself agreed or not. A ritual, a salvation, perhaps a promise, he himself did not know. But he was sure that, with the guidance of his master and mentor, all would be well. Or would it? Dun dun dun! Almost as if from another plane, mysterious voices begin to echo in my head. Come here! I look around, trying to discern where they're coming from, only to realize they're coming from myself. Come closer. I grab my head with my hands and begin a gasp of despair. More, come closer. Come here. Just come closer. We're waiting for you, Amelia. We're waiting for you. Wait, what? That's Amelia? It's doing the thing? I could feel every beat of my heart. An inescapable stinging was raging through my whole body as I tried to convince myself that it was just a dream. I felt as if my own heart was going to burst out of my chest at any moment. Wow! I opened my eyes as soon as I realized I was conscious. It was just a dream or maybe a nightmare, nothing more than that. It was all in my mind. Calm down, okay? It's not the first time this has happened. Unfortunately, it's not the first time. At this point, I remembered almost nothing of what I was dreaming, since there was a bigger concern that made me shudder just thinking about it. Again, another damn time. I thought it was just a coincidence what happened in the afternoon, but now also at night. I wanted to go to Mom. God, how I wanted to run out of my room, just as I had done so many times before. To leave my room in desperation, but knowing that Mom would be waiting for me in her room with open arms. But no, I couldn't do it again. Mom suffered too much the first time I was diagnosed with nightmare disorder. Just remembering the anguish on her face every bedtime. Countless times I went to her bedroom asking for help because there was a monster. But as I got older, the nightmares got worse and worse, more and more vivid. It's going to be okay, Amelia. Remember what the therapist said. The more you think about it, the more the nightmares will increase. I stared at the window. It was definitely a beautiful night with clear skies, a full moon more radiant than ever, and a lovely breeze. Just like in the dream. I shook my head and sighed. Don't think about it, Amelia. Don't think about it. The irony of not thinking about it makes you think about it. I turned on the lamp on my bedside table, grabbed the sheets, and covered myself completely. Now I just had to relax and everything would be fine. Everything was not fine. Although getting up early was never been one of my qualities, today was an exceptional day. As a result of last night's nightmare, I barely got a few minutes of sleep. I spent the entire night trying to fall asleep, tossing and turning, checking my cell phone countless times. Hell, I even turned on the TV after years. But such was my luck that just as sleep overcame me, I began to doze off. I heard the thunderous sound of my alarm clock. I didn't even hesitate to get up. I jumped out of bed and headed for the shower. Well, here we were again, a new day, a new sunshine, and new opportunities for improvement, or so they say. Come on, Amelia, this is going to be a good day. That's what Mom said. To hell with positivity, I had a face full of dark circles under my eyes. A corpse should have looked less haggard than I did. Besides the little problem of the nightmare and the lack of sleep, there was something that kept making me nervous, and I prayed to heaven that the person I was thinking of wouldn't show up. But of course, if something can go wrong, it will go wrong. Almost like every day, Andrew arrived with a warm smile, conveying reassurance and security, mostly security. But as much as I was delighted by his mere presence, I couldn't shake that feeling of guilt for not sending him the documents he asked for on time. And it didn't get any better when the first person he approached was me. Hey Amelia, how's your day going? God, I just couldn't even look him in the eye. The horrendous things he's probably thinking about me. A total irresponsible one. Nothing less than that must be going around in his head. Andrew, good to see you. Listen, about yesterday, I know what you must be thinking. That I'm completely irresponsible, that the image I always project of the polite, committed girl is false. And look, yeah, I understand it wasn't the right thing to do. What I did was no excuse. I was panicking. That emotion was making me say a bunch of nonsense sentences and excuses so I wouldn't look bad. And it's just imagining what you must be thinking about me, which is fine, of course. Everyone has their own opinion of other people. That's not something I can avoid, but... Amelia? Look, I'm aware what I did wasn't right. If Mr. Harrison saw my behavior, he would surely be ashamed of me, and with good reason, after all. Amelia, look. Andrew, I know. I know you must have thought that I rarely fail to turn in an assignment on time. That's why I thought I'd have the sketches ready early. And I can only imagine how much I must have delayed you. It's unforgivable what I did. And on top of that, I was trying to make excuses. If I were you, I really couldn't... Amelia, stop it! A shout from Andrew caused me to stop whatever words I was about to say. We don't know when to shut up. That's why we should be whispering instead. It was only at this moment that I realized that I was speaking on impulse, and much of what I said probably barely made sense to him. Amelia, it's alright. I mean, we all have bad days. You have nothing to apologize for. I could feel the sternness in his words, and even though he was giving me an order, his only intention was to calm my nerves. I could do nothing but stare into his eyes as he processed what he was telling me. And stop flexing, dude. What the hell? I know you go to the gym and shit, but you don't have to show everyone that you go to the gym every day. A few seconds later, I smiled and nodded my head. Thank you, Andrew. The sound of the door caught my attention again. A girl with her arms crossed, towering sneakers, and a look that would murder if it crossed someone she loathed. Good morning. Oh my, is that Sherry? Will someone please explain to me who's responsible for that unbearable smell? Well, before she finished speaking, everyone near her ran, almost as if it was a demon who entered the classroom. Oh my god. So she's the devil and we're going to whisper to her? Perhaps demon is an adjective that limits medicine's potential. She's definitely a horror-made person of any human being who stands against her. Well, maybe with one exception. Jesus, would you stop screaming, please, man? They probably use some cherry-scented air freshener or something. You, I'm sick of leaving your books in the car. Do you think it's fair that I always have to carry your books besides my own? I swear next time. Good morning, Madison. After hearing my voice, she rolled her eyes at me and immediately changed the expression on her face. Oh, Emilia, good morning, sweetheart. It never fails. Madison has been my best friend ever since middle school, and I knew exactly what to do to calm her bad mood. Hey, did you see that guy who claims to be a music critic tweeted yesterday? Oh, of course I saw it. It was the stupidest thing I've seen in a long time. Saying that the music industry is in downward spiral because of K-pop. And here I thought he was actually reviewing with objective opinions. Oh, and did you see what the famous Starlight Girls member said to him? Oh, but of course I saw it. Way to shut him up with a couple of words. Girls, I don't want to sound rude, but I'm afraid I'm not understanding much of the conversation. Even though you look like you belong to a K-pop group. Madison looked sideways at him, raising an eyebrow and frowning. But I can see you don't need me right now, so I'll leave you two alone. And with that, he waved his hand as a parting gesture and went to chat with other classmates. I turned to Madison and looked at her disapprovingly. Come on, you shouldn't be so hard on him. Maybe living with him once in a while must be lovely, but every single day, sometimes I'd like to run away. It must be so much fun. It's not, believe me. Well, I never knew what it's like to have a brother. I wonder why my mom and dad didn't want to have more kids. Oh, said the brother and sister. Conversation was abruptly interrupted by the arrival of our homeroom teacher, who apparently is invisible. Everyone in the classroom is also invisible. Fell silent and went to their seats. Alright guys, everybody sit down please. Before we start class, good morning to each of you. What can I say? It's good to start the day seeing your faces again. Must have missed those murmurs that you students naively think are not heard by the teachers. Anyway, I would not like to bore you with the monologue from this old man. Your venerable Principal Gibson tells me that you are preparing for the Spring Festival. Certainly every year our Ricerfield Academy puts on one of the most memorable festivals that any institution can have the joy of putting on. As you know, our town is full of history, tradition, and a lot of culture that we preserve and commemorate through these ceremonies. I don't have much to tell you, even though you have 2, 3, 4, 5 dialogues now. This is not your first year here at this school. You have already experienced on your own excitement of doing a group project to present on the day of the festival. This year, class agreed with the principal to make a magazine to compile the most representative events that Ricerfield City has had. Oh, Principal Gibson. She has always been so attentive to everyone, both students and teachers. She's a remarkable woman, and I'm honored to say that she's a very close friend of mine, not just bragging. I won't digress any further. As many of you know, 2 of your classmates are in charge of doing a sketch for the cover of the magazine. Miss Smith and Mr. Matthews, how far along are you with the sketch? It happened just as I feared. The professor was requesting the sketch that I failed to finish yesterday. Andrew and I turned to look at each other as soon as we heard the professor mention our names. But what were we going to tell him? I'm sure he won't like the idea that we're not exactly making great progress. Afterwards, Andrew rose from his seat and bowed his head slightly. You see, Professor, there was a personal inconvenience which didn't allow me to. No. That being said, the whole class stared at me, waiting for whatever I was going to say to disprove Andrew. After all, I can't let him take the blame, especially not after he was so nice to me. Still, maybe sharing the responsibility between the 2 of us is a good option after all. Same. Well, you know what they say, one for all for one. We are both responsible. It may not be the most appropriate thing to do, but sharing the responsibility always makes you feel a little better. I'm very sorry, Professor, we haven't had good organization and that didn't allow us to finish the sketch on time. Andrew looked at me and smiled mischievously. Then he looked back at the professor and confirmed my statement. That's right, Mr. Harrison. We offer you a sincere apology and promise to finish the work by the next class. Was it right what I did? We're slowly turning to the devil's side. Mr. Harrison has always had a good impression of both Andrew and me. Regardless of who was responsible, there is probably some sanction awaiting us. Oh, but of course, guys, you have nothing to worry about. I must admit, it was very unwise of me to ask you of that just yesterday knowing how little time you had. However, as you should be aware, we can't afford to fall behind, since the magazine in question is one of the school's newest future attractions. Therefore, I must imagine you will have no problem working with others of your classmates. I'll put together a team that can help you with this design. Would that be okay? A team? It didn't sound like such a bad idea, although deep down, inside, I felt there was something behind it. Andrew and I nodded, eager to see who would be working with us. Miss Matthews, please work with them. Sure enough, the professor assigned us to Andrew's sister, Madison, who is also my best friend, of course. Sure, no problem. Thank you. 2 more people should be enough to get that job done in time. Mr. Lawson, work with them. Lawson, the famous Conrad Lawson. The fact that Madison's boyfriend was also on our team only further aroused my suspicions that it was no coincidence that we were working together. Do you agree, Mr. Lawson? Do I even have a choice, Mr. Harrison? I think you already know the answer. I thought so. Conrad patted the table as grotesquely as he could, trying to get attention, typical of him. And finally, Miss Macmillan. You'll be working with them too. I didn't expect that, and by the look on Madison's face, she probably didn't either. Claire Macmillan was definitely the kind of girl who, beyond benefiting us, would only bring complications. And not because I had anything in particular against Claire. At least, I never knew anything bad about her. But the mere fact that she was Conrad's ex-girlfriend already, oh shit, said a lot about her and how complicated our dynamic as a group would be. Okay guys, you know what you have to do. I want that sketch ready by tomorrow. I'm confident each of you will do an excellent job. And good luck. Next up. Are you fucking serious? I could have expected anything. Literally anything. I mean, it's obvious that I would be picked to work with Andrew because he's my brother. And I can even kinda understand Conrad being with us. But Claire, that bitch, as if Mr. Hanson didn't know exactly that she's the last person I want to engage in conversation with. Certainly Madison had a point. Mr. Hanson knows perfectly well that Madison and Claire cannot speak to each other for obvious reasons. However, the fact that he put them to work together sounded very pretentious, as if the professor was up to something. Mr. Harrison is one of the most recognizable people at our institution, and is close to all the students. I find it almost impossible to believe that he would be able to put them to work together just to cause a problem. Now there must be something else going on here. And you know what the worst part is? I'm absolutely certain that Claire will only use this opportunity to make me angry and get closer to Conrad. I'll have a serious talk with her. Savior, You're overreacting, Madison. Something smells fishy here. Madison, don't you think there's something fishy going on here? Something fishy? With Claire, you mean? No, I feel like there's something else behind Mr. Harrison putting together a team with all of us. Huh? I really don't think so. I was particularly referring to Claire. There's something about Claire that has never quite convinced me. How could she help us? The most complicated thing she must have done in her life must have been lifting a matchbook, and that's saying a lot. With both her parents involved in high politics, what's she in school for? She must have her whole damn life figured out. Stop it, Madison. It's not Claire's fault that her parents are well off, and besides, that doesn't mean she doesn't have a nice personality. She's like any other girl, just give her a chance. And still, what's the point of her pretending to be a good person if everyone knows perfectly well that she's always been interested in Conrad, even though he's now my boyfriend? What's the point, Madison? Good question. Oh, politics. Cold, cruel politics. I guess it's no surprise to anyone why Claire is taking classes with us. From the point of view of our classmates and the entire school in general, Claire has nothing more than a mere interloper here. From the actions of our venerable Principal Gibson, it is evident that the daughter of 2 of our city's most important politicians studies at Reisterfield Academy just to give us a better appearance. And here was Conrad again, just to make matters worse. Although Madison can be a bit insufferable when she's not in her best mood, she's often friendly with anyone, regardless of whether they have a good relationship with her or not. But Conrad, he's definitely the kind of guy that anyone would loathe just by listening to him say a couple of words. To this day, I still wonder what Madison could see attractive in someone like him. Out of sight, out of mind, I guess? So as you would understand, my dear Madison, Claire here is just an attraction to make the facility look nicer. A complete idiot, no more, no less. I hated the way he expressed himself about anyone he felt superior to, especially when they were women. But I wasn't going to let this ruin my day. It was in my head to not let this get the better of me. Guys, this conversation is pointless. Madison, please tell Andrew that he will meet at my house today at 5 p.m. Please bring all the material we may require. You know how Mr. Harrison is. Surely he wants a hand-drawn sketch. What about Claire? As soon as Conrad uttered this, Madison turned an intense gaze toward him. It was obvious that Conrad's concern for Claire was not exactly to her liking. I guess innocent Claire is invited to your house too, right, Amelia? Actually, good heavens, why do you have to be in this situation? I'll go find Claire to know the time of the meeting. Besides, I think I'm a little left out of this conversation. I faked a smile and turned my back on them as I walked to my classroom. That was so awkward. As I walked, I could still hear Madison's complaints and Connor's futile attempts to justify himself. That pair, they had broken up twice this month. It looked like this would be the third one. Lol. I'm home. When I opened the front door, I was greeted with a heavenly aroma coming from the kitchen. I walked in the direction where the smell was coming from to realize that my mother was the one responsible. How dare you? Hi, honey, how's your day going? Fine, as far as I can tell, fine. I settled my bag down on the dining room table and sat in one of the chairs while I talked to Mum. I'm glad, Em. I'm making lasagna. Just wait for me for a couple of minutes while I take the food out of the oven. Oh, Mom, there's no need for that. You're not going to tell me you don't feel like eating your favorite food. There was no possible human way to refuse such a tempting offer, but there was something else on my mind that kept me from enjoying what, on another occasion, would have made me feel joyful. You got me. There's definitely no being that can resist your culinary prowess. Oh ho ho, you flatter me, honey. Although, come to think of it, no, you don't flatter me. People could say anything about me except that my food wouldn't be delicious to even the toughest of chefs. Mom. Huh? I have a feeling something's not quite right, is it? What do you mean? Please, Amelia, I know you perfectly well. I am your mother. Mom was absolutely right in thinking I wasn't feeling well, but I couldn't explain exactly what was wrong with me either. It was sounding like a bad omen, like I was waiting for something to happen. It's nothing. I think I'm just a little stressed because I have some classmates coming home. What? You mean today? Oh yeah, I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. I just found out today too. Ow, my back, holy shit. Oh, that felt good. Don't forget to stretch, boys. Amelia, you have nothing to worry about. What time are your friends coming over? My friends, I wouldn't know if I would consider them all friends. We weren't working together out of friendship, but more by the will of Mr. Harrison. First name Ford. Wait, no. Last name Ford. All in all, I think some good will come out of this. With the exception of Madison, I rarely invite anyone home, so there will be fresh faces for both Mom and me. What could go wrong? Everything. Told her to come at 5 o'clock, although now that I think about it, maybe it was too early, or too late maybe. Amelia, my dear little Amelia, always looking for perfection where it's not needed. If it's neither too early nor too late, it means it's the right time, see? She was absolutely right. Sometimes I would make my life so complicated with such banal and simple situations. I wish I was like her, so carefree, so calm, so free. Why don't you go to your room and lie down for a while? It's still 4:30. I'm sure when your friends come over, everything will be a little better. I smiled and gave Mom a hug. I had forgotten how warm it feels to be hugged by someone who really cares about you. Thanks, Mom. I'll go upstairs now then. I grabbed my bag from the table and headed upstairs to my room. I was almost halfway up the stairs when someone was knocking at the door. Oh, don't worry, Amelia. It must be your father. I'll get the door. Mom took off her oven mitts and went to the front door. I expected to hear Dad's voice, but a much clearer, high-pitched voice echoed down the entry hall. Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon. Was that voice of Claire? What was she doing here at this hour? I was supposed to meet Amelia today during the afternoon for some schoolwork. Amelia, of course, she told me some friends of hers were coming over. I went downstairs and into the hallway. I haven't even changed my clothes yet. A shy-looking girl with red hair and blue eyes was standing in my doorway. It was definitely Claire. Hi, Claire. Amelia. Well, I'll leave you two alone. I don't want to interrupt. By the way, there's lasagna and melon juice if either of you would like it. Thank you, ma'am. It's very kind of you. Mom smiled at both of us and went back to the kitchen. Come in, please. I must admit, I didn't expect you to see at this hour. Oh, am I too early? A little bit, yeah, but that's okay. I didn't have anything more important to do. I'm sorry, Amelia. I was a bit bored at home, and I guess I rushed too much to be on time. Nah, don't worry. Mom is the happiest to have people over. I was a little worried that the situation would become awkward. I had absolutely nothing in common with this girl. Still, Claire seems nice and gentle enough. Just look for conversation topics, Amelia. It can't be that complicated. You're good at this. So how do you feel about having Mr. Harrison back? Mr. Harrison? Can hardly believe he's back at school. You know he hasn't been back since his wife died in that car accident. We were all so worried about him. But it's a good sign to have him back. That means he's feeling better. Sounds like you have a good relationship with him. I do. Mr. Harrison has always supported me with, well, some personal problems. Oh, personal problems. So you must have talked with Conrad about Conrad and medicine or something. Huh, interesting. You're right. When I was feeling stressed about exams, I could always count on him for a pep talk. It's a shame what happened to his wife. I just hope the professor can get his life back on track. The conversation flowed pleasantly. I could confirm that Claire was quite nice. Frankly, I don't understand why Madison feels so much contempt toward her. That's because she has no problem with you. Actually, I do know the motives behind it, and yet it would be hard for me to hate Claire if she was my boyfriend's ex. As if I had a boyfriend, of course. Time passed, and a few minutes later, at 5 o'clock, Andrew and Madison arrived at my house. Howdy, Mrs. Smith. Madison, dear, lovely to see you. Hi, Mrs. Smith. I'm Andrew, Madison's brother. Well, if it isn't a famous Andrew, Amelia has told me so much about you. Oh, really? Amelia talks about me a lot? I wanted the floor to swallow me up. Mom is on the one hand friendly and very supportive. On the other hand, the person who makes the most unwelcome and uncomfortable comments, at least to me. Oops, bad comment, I know. Promise not to say it again. No, not at all. Andrew was a little flushed, and I say a little because no level of embarrassment that any human being could feel could compare to how I feel right now. Mom, what such witty things to say? I know, honey, sometimes I wonder if I should have been a stand-up comedian. Everyone in the room laughed at that except me. Oh, Mom, you're more than a basket case. But through it all, Mom is still the person who understands me the most and is always there to support me when I need it. So is Dad, but his recent promotion as department head has caused us to drift apart because of how little time he spends at home. And the situation only got a lot more complicated with the move a few weeks ago. That alone has caused a constant element of stress at home. Outside of them, we have no close family living in the same city, so we are pretty much on our own in that regard. Maybe this is exactly why since high school I've seen Madison almost like a sister. Sure, sometimes we argue and I don't always agree with everything she has to say, but she's the closest thing I've had to growing up with someone as if they were part of our family. While we waited for the relaxed guests to arrive, we ate the delicious food Mom had prepared. We cracked a few jokes, forgetting for a moment that we had a job to do. Honestly, I was enjoying everyone's company. It was generally a nice time. Seconds, minutes, hours passed, until finally, against all odds, Conrad arrived at my house. As expected, his arrival was not exactly pleasant, and my bad mood returned as soon as I heard him utter something. Could someone open the door? Conrad knocked on the door angrily, almost demanding that someone come running to open it for him. Mom offered, of course, but was turned away by someone none of us would have expected. Oh, don't worry. I'll go get it. You guys go ahead and enjoy yourselves. Claire went to the door with a smile. Oh, God, it's so awkward. As this was happening, the expression on Madison's face, which was one of joy at Conrad's arrival, shifted to bewilderment and anger at Claire's reaction. It was a little odd, I won't deny it, but it didn't strike me as sufficient reason to arouse Madison's jealousy. Again, I'm not the one in a romantic relationship, so I have no say. Andrew, as always, tried to help Madison calm down, taking her hand and saying it would be okay. My mom, seeing how uncomfortable the situation was, decided it was time to leave the table. Guys, it's so nice to have shared the afternoon with you. You are so lovely. You see, I have some unfinished business, work and stuff. Adult life, I guess. I'll leave you to it. Use the whole house freely. If you need anything, I'll be in my room. A few seconds after Mom got up from the table and went to her room, Claire returned to the dining room in company of Conrad. Madison, disgusted by the situation, roughly grabbed Andrew's hand and pushed it away. I'm fine, Andy. Conrad tossed his bag toward one of the armchairs and leaned back on it, like a stranger in his own home. Oh, Amelia, I'm so sorry to arrive at your house like this. But you understand, traffic, a lot of traffic, it puts anyone in a bad mood, capiche? And this couch, God, if there's a description of discomfort, it might be this one. What a fucking asshole. Could you at least discard your lack of manners? I wouldn't be so optimistic. This fellow is barely polite enough to say hello, and that's already too much for him to ask. And that was so true. Carter always brags about his long career at highly prestigious institutions. Apparently, manners have not been accosted at those schools. Guys, please, we're in a meeting with the goal of finishing a job. I'm sure you won't have any problem solving your personal issues later, will ya? You know what? You're right. We shouldn't give this matter any more thought. Conrad, did you bring the materials I asked for? Materials? What do you mean? What do I mean? What do you think I mean? Huh? Makeup and girly stuff? What? Seriously, what? It doesn't even make sense. What kind of world is this guy in? We're talking about schoolwork. WORK? Man, please, tell me. Tell me you brought what I asked for. Well, not exactly. We didn't even come to an agreement on what we were going to bring. I mean, it's a sketch for a magazine. What else could we need? Of course. What else could we possibly need? We just require... Well, what do we need to sketch anyway? This was enough. We Carter and Madison argued we weren't going to get anywhere. Calm down, Amelia. Calm down. Okay, let's look for alternatives. Amelia, do you have drawing pencils, erasers, rulers? And there was Arrow, always illuminating the situation in such an unusual way. Unfortunately, I couldn't support him with his suggestion for supplies. No, not really. The movers haven't finished bringing all our belongings yet, so a lot of my stuff hasn't been brought to this house. Sorry? I arched my eyebrows with a futile attempt at an apology. Andrew just smiled and tried to divert attention away from making me uncomfortable. Anyway, there's no point in arguing about this. There had already been designated people in charge who should have brought what was asked of them. I beg your pardon, my lord. This is not a game, Madison. You said so yourself that this is no time for reproaches, which doesn't mean that things shouldn't be taken seriously. You know, I never fail to perform my duties. I'm serious. Then help us look for alternatives. Alternatives? What can we do? There are a couple of options. Asking the neighbors if they can lend us something? No, it's highly unlikely they have drawing equipment, and even if they did, they hardly know us in the neighborhood enough to have confidence to lend us any. Maybe all that's left is... Can we go shopping for materials? Yeah. I mean, if Amelia doesn't have anything to work with, you might want to go to a stationery store nearby. I like that idea. Of course you would like it. Amelia, are there any stationery shops near your house? Let me remember. I think there's one about 3 blocks away, although I'm not sure if it's open at this hour. It's not exactly early, you know. Well, some of us can walk over and buy everything we need. Conrad pulled some keys out of his pocket and tossed it in the air, only to catch it again. What? My car. Your car what? We can go in it if you want. No, it's way too close. It would just be a waste of gas. But what if the stationery store is closed? We have to go to another one. That's maybe a lot farther away. I had to admit that Claire had a point, but it was pretty obvious that she was doing this to be on Conrad's side. What's going on between them? I was beginning to understand Madison's jealousy. I'm with Amelia. I don't see the point of using a car. Conrad and I can go quickly in the car. That way we don't waste time. Two people don't seem enough to me. Enough for what? We all go or no one goes. Connor, I swear if you're trying... That's enough. Let's all go in the damn car. I hate yelling, and I hate feeling like an autocratic leader and giving directions to others, but I wasn't going to let another fight happen. Everyone nodded and headed for the exit. Ooh, awkward tensions. Madison and Conrad got in front of the vehicle while Andrew, Claire, and I sat in the back. Conrad started the car and sped off in a few seconds. Doesn't this guy have more than a couple of brain cells in his head? Unexpected from the time, it appeared that the stationery store nearby was closed. Andrew and I suggested we go back and just leave it until tomorrow. I was sure Mr. Harrison would have understood if we explained carefully. But of course it was Conrad, nothing more and nothing less than a child spoiled by his parents, whose ability to listen to others seemed to be underdeveloped. And the situation with Madison was only getting worse, more so since Claire was in the same car. As if our dynamic at home wasn't tense enough, things seemed to have become a little dangerous. Dangerous? I will not go along with apologizing to Mr. Harrison. I have never in my life failed to deliver a single assignment, and this will be no exception. Let's find somewhere to get materials to work with then, damn it. It's not easy, you idiot. Even with your damn car, we haven't found another place. If it wasn't for the fact that someone was too late. Not for nothing, but I wouldn't say Conrad's a fault here. I mean, it's kind of late already. Conrad is doing enough with bringing us all in his car. I'm sorry, did I really hear that? Again, the conversation became awkward and full of snide remarks. I'm pretty sure you understood what she said. I'm not talking to you. I know you stand up for her. Guys, please, are you going to keep doing this? Sick of it. I'm sick of it. It's more than obvious that Claire is just here to spite Conrad, to spite me. No one is against you, Madison. No, I am. I can't stand another second with this girl in this car. So what, you're gonna throw me out with the car running? If I have to. What the hell are you talking about, Conrad? How the hell did you guys become a couple in the first place? It's unbelievable. This guy talks about his girlfriend like she's an object. I was going to let him offend my friend. This is none of your business. Leave your nose out of things you're not supposed to. I'll mess with whatever business I want. You know you're nothing more than a poor simple scholarship girl. This isn't Conrad. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. I was not going to tolerate one more offense. I was about to say the most unkind and rude words that could have come out of my mouth, but Andrew interrupted me. Enough, damn it! Conrad pressed the accelerator even harder, giving a strange sense of adrenaline to the encounter, as if what was happening wasn't enough. It was supposed to be just Conrad and I coming along, but because of someone nasty, we're in the situation now. Now you're going to say it's my fault? Evidently, you were never invited in the first place. Now we were on top of a vehicle moving at full speed down the highway we hadn't even originally planned to come on. Conrad was seriously veering off the road. Wait a damn second, where are you taking us? If you all want to fight so badly, is he going to take us to internet blood sports? Awesome! Conrad continued to accelerate, to the point where our own words were indistinguishable amidst the engine noises and the wind buffeting against us. Then I hope you can keep doing it in hell. What? This guy was crazy, and this time I wasn't wrong at all. What now? You're trying to kill us? Conrad, this isn't funny. Stop the damn car now. All this because of the assignment. Fuck you, Mr. Harrison. You should have thought about that a lot before you got in. We're in this. There's no turning back now. Andrew, Claire, and I were holding on tightly to some part of the seat or wherever we could, as if it really would have protected us from a crash. Rather than feeling stressed or angry, I was now really worried about my safety. If we survive this, I swear I will report you for attempted murder. I probably would have reported you for jealousy before. That's not even a fucking crime. Well, it would be a great shame if the lives of Mr. Harris's 5 beloved students ended here and now. Interrupting the heated discussion, the silhouette of what appeared to be a person in the middle of the road was caught in everyone's vision. Watch out! With barely a couple seconds to react, Conrad slapped on the handbrake, bringing the car to a screeching halt. My head bounced off the back of the seat in front of me, hurting my neck in the process. Whoops. But the worst part was the raw sound of the car slamming into whatever we hit. Inside the car, there was silence for a few seconds, with neither of us knowing how to react or what to say. With my eyes unfocused and my mind barely recovering from the impact, one of us managed to verbalize something. What's that? Conrad swallowed hard and stopped himself. We all knew perfectly well what had happened. We hit a human being. And right now, with the force of the impact, that person was probably living his last moments. Whoops. Oopsie. Conrad was the first to get out of the car, knocking on the door incidentally because of the speed at which he got out. Madison quickly followed Conrad's lead, and in a few seconds the rest of us were behind them. All around us was a small shack, and in the distance we could barely make out a few houses. But in front of us was the only road. Not in sight was a human being or animal that we ran over. We were 5 high school students in the middle of a road far from the city. There's nobody here, right? Well, just a few seconds ago, we were all dumbfounded. The event that had just occurred seemed completely unexplainable and only made us more confused than we already were by the shock. I'm pretty sure there was a person on the road. I saw him. Of course there was a person. Did you hear the sound when we hit it? An animal, maybe? I'm pretty sure an animal wouldn't make such a loud noise. So what? We hit a person and magically disappeared? That's stupid. From whatever side we looked at it, what had just happened made no sense at all, and the 5 of us were uselessly trying to find some kind of explanation for it. What if the person ran away or something? But that's not possible. I don't think a human being, at least an ordinary human being, could have survived the impact, much less they got up and had time to leave. Conrad, did you see if the body was lying on the road? Of course I did. I even stared at it for a few seconds. It was a person. I'm sure of it. Did you realize who it was? A man or girl? Who? I don't know, damn it. It all happened too fast. But I'm sure we hit something, I have no doubt about it. Why would I have used the handbrake in the first place? And not only that, you all saw it too. It could be anything. The only thing we have for sure is whatever we hit disappeared in just a couple of seconds. For a few minutes we were all silent, each one of us trying to think of an explanation, or maybe something to say at least, something that made sense in this madness. But the vast majority of us were barely aware of ourselves at this point. It almost seemed like a fictional story, something you'd be told, not something you'd expect to live. And the silence was broken when one of us spotted something that caught her attention. What's that, guys? Claire raised her hand, pointing to an object just a few feet in front of us. We slowly approached the object, being able to see more and more clearly what it was. When we were inches away, we stopped. What is it? A book! An open book stained with blood, drawings, and marks of all kinds. The book appeared to have been simply left on the roadside amidst the bushes and dirt. There were several unidentified symbols that seemed to be taken from a grimoire? A what? A grimoire. Look at the markings. There's pentagrams writing in all sorts of languages, and these symbols, they're ancient runes. But what's a book like that doing in the middle of the road? More importantly, why is it stained with blood? The person we hit turned into a book. We were silent for a few minutes. We were all thinking, probably each processing everything that was happening, trying to come up with a logical explanation. But did it have one? This felt so surreal, so otherworldly. It was as if in a moment every thought had stopped, every part flowing in my own life, just to make me reflect at this very moment. I've had enough for today. It's time to go. This is stupid. We're just wasting our time. I'm not moving from here before I understand what happened. Come on, Amelia, there's nothing else to do here. But guys, we're just going to leave the book here? Claire's right, we can't just leave. We just ran over a person for goodness sake. Amelia, we didn't run over anyone. I'm sure it was just an animal. So what's going to happen tomorrow? Are we going to assume none of this happened? Amelia, we can't do anything. And I think I speak for everyone else. No one here would leave without first checking to make sure no one is hurt. But that's not the situation. We're fine. I promise we won't just leave it at that. But for now, it's time to go. I'm so tired. It's been an exhausting day. We didn't finish anything. Fuck. I looked again at the book lying on the road and blurred my vision. There was something else here. Something had to mean all this. But deep down they're right. We can't do anything else for now. Fuck that guy, I guess. This is what your lack of control led us to. Please, Madison, never imagined this would happen. That's enough. We're not going to get anywhere arguing about this. Conrad, will you please take us all home? I don't mean to abuse that we're in your car, but for here, it's partly your fault. No problem. I was gonna do it anyway. What are we going to tell Mr. Hanson tomorrow? We didn't even finish the sketch. I don't give a shit about that magazine or what Mr. Hanson might tell us. We'll worry about that later. The others were talking about what happened, and were already planning what we were going to do tomorrow. But I couldn't be like them. I was lost in my own thoughts. I felt as if it was just the beginning, as if we were pulling back the curtain on a nightmare, a horrible nightmare that was just beginning to show its first signs. I came home in a completely depressed mood. I didn't feel well at all. Mom heard my arrival, came out of her room, went downstairs and turned on the living room light. Amelia, is everything alright? I saw you come out a while ago. Did you find what you were looking for? Mom, if I were to tell you... Well, I'm sure I can understand what happened. No, it's not that. It's just a very long story. It's not that late yet, you know. So how do you like the idea of staying up on a girls' night out? Just talking about us and enjoying our company. Doesn't that sound exciting? Mom, I'm a bit tired. I know. Go to your room then. We'll talk about this when you're feeling better, okay? I faked a smile and gave Mom a kiss on the cheek. Good night, Mommy. Good night to you too. Get some rest. I went upstairs trying to keep my mind blank. When I got to my room, I felt an intense sense of discomfort. I needed to tell someone, ask for guidance, but what else was I going to do? No one would believe what had happened to us. Even Mom would tell me not to think about it and turn over a new leaf. Maybe they're right after all. It was just an incident, an unfortunate incident. After changing my clothes, I laid down on the bed and closed my eyes. Remarkably, I was able to fall asleep in just a few minutes. I had lost that habit for so many years. For a long time I had to watch movies, read, hell, I even prayed that I could fall asleep and sleep well without nightmares. But today was different, like a hint that something really changed after today. Oh, here we go again. 3:20 a.m. In the calm of the full moon night, with the clear sky and an enchanting breeze, a soul is still awake, waiting for the right moment to begin its ritual. Hidden in the bush near the entrance gates of the building, the man steps out cautiously, making sure there is no one around him. Confirming that he is alone, he throws himself to the ground in an area filled with dirt and grass and begins to dig. Just a bit more. Just a little bit more, I'll get it. I can't stop now. The glare of a sharp knife blinds the person outside, who, in his frenzy, digs a hole without realizing the wounds he causes himself. Runs, sighs, and even his own heartbeat can be heard being pumped at superhuman pressure. Wait a second. This has happened before. I had this exact same dream yesterday afternoon. And the moment I had this thought, a glow spread all around me. The dream, which I could observe in third person, had just changed substantially from the previous time. The person digging the hole begins to fade away. Every particle of his or her body reddens and heats up as if burned from the inside. And when the person is consumed himself, the sound of the knife falling to the ground is heard. Ow, my eyes. It's too bright. Something happened. What we did today changed the course of destiny. It was not a coincidence, but a parallel event that, when interconnected, prevented something from happening to us. We prevented something. Aha. Come closer. And again I heard a series of voices, like those of a choir, echoing inside me. Come closer. Come here. Come closer. Voices come from everywhere. From me, from the air, from the leaves, from the trees, from the school. All this was at the entrance of the school. I barely noticed it. Why was I here? Come. Was there something important about the scenery, or was it just a part of my own fear? Don't go away. What does this dream mean? Come here. Who was behind all this? Come here, or you will die. Wow. I opened my eyes suddenly. The sun's rays coming through my window made me frown. What? In which moment? How long I have been dreaming for? I feel like I've been caught. I could have sworn I had just closed my eyes. It seems impossible, at least temporarily, that it was already daylight so soon. But then, after a moment's analysis of the situation, I concluded that I simply slept too deeply. Another nightmare, just like last night. Another nightmare. For a moment I had forgotten everything about the previous day, but a few seconds after waking up, all the memories came back to my mind. Did all that really happen? We ran over someone. Even if everyone else says otherwise, we know exactly what happened. It wasn't an animal, it was a person. We all clearly saw that it was a human silhouette, although we certainly couldn't make out who it was. I was thinking about this when, almost as if by divine chance, just then I made a connection between the incident with the car and what I saw in my dream. I could swear that there were key clues in my dream about what happened on the road. I know there's a connection, there's something else. There has to be something else. But what is it? As much as I tried to think of what the connection was between my dream and the incident, I couldn't find anything to validate my theory. But the others, they have to listen to me. I'm sure they also think the same as I do. I quickly got ready for school, washed my face, brushed my teeth, and put on my uniform. Mom came up to my room to offer me breakfast. As much as it pained me, I had to refuse her offer. I needed to see the others. They need to know what I saw in my dream. Dad dropped me off at school at the entrance. I barely had time to say goodbye and hear him wish me a good day. But I didn't care about anything else at that moment. I had a much higher priority. I rushed toward the classroom, bumping into several students numerous times. As I arrived, I ran into two of my dearest friends, Andrew and Madison. Amelia, you look like you just ran a marathon. Are you alright? Did something happen to you? Guys, please. I need you to listen to me. I just realized something. No, really, are you okay? You look pale. I'm fine. It's just... Oh, good morning. How did the most divine flower in this beautiful field dawn? And there was Carter, being inopportune as usual. Why am I not surprised? Don't you think for a single moment that talking to me affectionately is going to get me to forgive you for all of yesterday? Oh, please, honey, I know that sometimes it can be troublesome, but you know perfectly well that in this heart there's only room for one woman. So that woman is... I could never underestimate your intelligence, lover of my loves. You know perfectly well who I mean. I still have my doubts, if I'm honest. Guys, please, I've discovered something, I think, behind all this. And just as I was about to say what I was planning, I was interrupted again. Now this is just playing a mean prank. And just as I was about to say what I was planning, I was interrupted again. This time, it was by the arrival of the headmistress to the classroom, though. Immediately, everyone sat down in their respective places, including us. Although the principal has been involved in a few scandals, usually for focusing more on the prestige than on the welfare of the students, at the end of the day, we all had a lot of respect for her as she was a recognized and admired woman due to her long trajectory. So we listened attentively to the announcement she came to communicate with us, which certainly could not be something minor if she came personally to talk to us. My dear students, you are venerable offspring who give this institution a reason for being. You give us a reason for why every teacher, every member of this place chooses to come here day by day, minute by minute. And that reason is your education, your most attentive, formal, proper education. As you may have noticed, it was only 2 days ago that Professor Ronald Harrison decided to take over his teaching duties again. For various personal reasons that I am sure some of you are aware of, Mr. Anderson was absent for 3 months. We were all so happy, so excited to have him back. A cold sensation ran through my body. I was afraid of what the headmistress was about to tell us. However, I have to be the one to give you the decisive and sad news. I didn't like where this was going at all. If that's what I think, then Professor Ronald Harrison will be coming back to school. Oh no, this is wrong. Temporarily. What? Everything seems to indicate that he has a viral flu. He told us this morning that he will not be able to come back in for the rest of the week. Oh, I thought he was the one that got hit by the car. I heard several sides from various students, and boy did I understand them. Anyway, I am aware that several of you have a close relationship with him, and that he has been more than just a teacher, a true mentor. So I'm very sorry that as soon as he got back, he had to say goodbye to you for a while. That is the end of this brief announcement. I won't interrupt you much longer, as I know you have a very busy day due to the approaching Spring Festival. I hope you continue to have a great week and be proud to be part of the Rice Field Academy. Is that all? A simple announcement that the teacher is sick. That had way too much preamble for something so simple. Anyway, I hope the professor can recover soon. It's really good to have him back with us. The hours passed slower than I ever felt in my life. Mr. Harris's class was given by a substitute teacher who had taught us before. However, this teacher had a rather unfavorable reputation. I would say most students preferred not to take their classes if they were given by this teacher. He was incomprehensible, rough, and even a bit rude, I would say. But it was nothing more than a poor old man who kept teaching more out of pleasure than necessity. So at least I had some consideration for him and tried to participate in his classes. When it was finally break time, somehow I still don't understand. Madison, Conrad, and Claire joined Andrew and I in our plan to have breakfast together. It makes me sad that Mr. Harrison is absent again. Just yesterday he seemed so excited to be back. I think so. I also found him rather gloomy yesterday. I dare say he was trying hard to look better. No wonder, I suppose. It can't be easy to lose your wife so suddenly and go on with your life as if nothing happened. I mean, Mr. Harrison is a middle-aged man, too young to have already lost his lifelong partner. Looking at it from that point of view, it's even admirable that we already have him back. I definitely wouldn't want to go through something similar when I'm his age, or any age for that matter. I find it hard to believe that he showed himself us to so vulnerable, and yet we still have respect and trust for him. Oh, he was just a woman. It can't be that bad to be left out without a wife. It's disgusting that you think she was just his wife. It says a lot about your perception of romantic relationships, you know. And I don't think I could be with someone who thinks that way. If you think that now, I don't even want to imagine how you'll express yourself when we've been together for years. Ah, not another breakup, please. Tired of listening to old love songs in the wee hours of the morning. And I hope you're not saying that for me, my dear little brother. Ha ha ha. Oh, Madison, I didn't think breaking up with me would really crush your heart. You didn't crush my heart. It was just a moment of weakness. I have feelings too, you know. Sometimes I wonder if you really do, my dear fiancé. Fiancé? Oh, no. No promises of marriage, please. Marriage is too unnecessary. I mean, how much is it even going to cost to marry someone? Let's forget about marriages for a second. Divorces. If I had $1 for every adult I've heard complaining about the cost of divorces, I'd be a millionaire by now. It's just a millionaire? Man, I'd be the next Bill Gates. Having divorced parents really makes you hate any subject that has anything to do with that. Why are divorces so expensive anyway? Because they're worth it, I guess? Ha, good one, Amelia. It felt like breathing fresh air. I felt a little more de-stressed compared to how I had been the last few days. Few jokes here and there, deep down felt good to share moments with these people, even if just yesterday we were almost victims of a tragedy. But it was this very tragedy that almost happened, or maybe it did, was what kept me detached and removed from this world. I did notice it during class, coming up to me repeatedly to check if everything was okay. And I just pretended there was nothing wrong, but deep down I was worried, anxious, and almost mortified to tell anyone what was going on in my head. The four of them were finally together, and being all here, I could tell them to give more importance to what happened yesterday. Is this the right time? Should I tell them now? I wasn't sure if they would believe me in the end, but I had to explain it to them. At least they would understand me or try to do something. I was sure of it. Guys, now that we're all together, I would like to tell you something. About what happened last night, I think I have a little clue as to what occurred. Oh, not again, Amelia. We've talked about this. Let her talk. I'm sure she has something important to say. Thanks, Andrew. You see, the more I thought about what I was about to say, the harder I found it to believe myself. But there was no turning back now. We were here. I had to face it no matter what. Guys, just last night I had a dream. A nightmare, more like. The four of them looked at each other with confusion. It was obvious that they were not the least bit surprised at all by what I told them. Amelia, we all have dreams. It's normal. You were suggestible because of... I didn't dream about that accident. For several days now, I've had the same recurring dream. It's a man digging outside the school, right in front of the main door. He always has a knife in his hands, with which he opens the hole in which he buries countless objects. Photos, pins, dolls, as if it were some kind of ritual. But yesterday, right after we ran over, or thought we ran over, that person, something changed. We made a change in destiny, in our destiny. And I know that because this time the dream was different. The man in my dreams disappeared and vanished like nothing, just like the person on the road. We did something, I don't know what, but we did it. I'm afraid it's a bad omen, an augury, or that something bad is coming. It could be anything, a curse, a ritual, a witchcraft, Satanism, what do I know? All I know is that there's something behind us, something we woke up last night when we thought we ran over it. Everyone's expressions were now one of worry. For a very small moment I thought they were taking me seriously, that my warning had influenced them somewhat, but their faces actually reflected concern, and not about what I told them, but concern for me. Aaliyah, are you sure you're okay? If you feel really bad, we can take you to the infirmary, you know. I'm not feeling sick, I'm telling them what I experienced in my dream. Oh, please. Talking about dream psychology and stuff. I don't know how to run your life, Amelia, but I doubt very much that believing that your dreams indicate the future is exactly the best way to take control. They didn't believe me, they didn't believe me at all. Guys, I'm not kidding, I'm serious. There's something very bad behind all this, and we have to do something before it's too late. Amelia, are you watching too many horror movies? What? Please, you have to believe me. Amelia, you don't look good. Ever since you came running into the classroom, anxiety, panic attacks, depression, all of that can be treated if you put your mind to it. You don't have to pretend to be stronger than you are, honey. What the hell are you talking about, medicine? I don't have a freaking panic attack, I don't have anxiety, and I don't have depression. There's something out there that wants to hurt us. Why don't you believe me? Why? Amelia, you have to calm down, please. We're going to calm down. Our lives are in danger. I was speaking on impulse. No matter how I tried to restrain myself, the words were stronger than I was. It was a fucking animal we ran over. A fucking animal. There wasn't an animal, and you all saw it. We ran over a person who should be dead by now. We are murderers. As I said this, tears began to stream down my face, showing my true feelings. We are murderers, wah. I felt like a child throwing a tantrum, with my face bathed in tears and sobbing intensely. I can't take this. Max took my hand and then gave me a warm hug. I needed it. I really felt like I was losing my sanity. All the students around us were watching the scene. I felt embarrassed, uncomfortable, desperate, so many emotions at the same time, and no outlet for them. It's going to be okay, Amelia. It's going to be okay. Okay. At the end of the last hour of classes, I decided to go to the school library to study for a while. So, when are we gonna whisper to the devil or something? I didn't want to go home. I know I want to tell my mom about what happened yesterday, and I didn't feel like at that moment. Good afternoon, miss. Good afternoon. I was so distracted I didn't see the man at the reception desk in the library. He was an old man well known to everyone in the school. Few students were friends with him, and I was not one of them. Fortunately, on multiple occasions, I was penalized for not returning books on time, or even completely forgetting that I had borrowed them. Any interest in a particular book? No, thank you. I'm just here to study for a while. I smiled at him, then turned to where the study carrels were located. However, as I turned, I saw a pile of books, and an idea crossed my mind. Actually, I'm looking for a book. More like an encyclopedia or something similar. Okay, I'm gonna take a rest here. Yeah. Ooh, gonna take a break for a bit.